The time is 5 o'clock. Here is the world news of 5. First, the top stories. Ogun worried over high rate of untreated tuberculosis cases. Fayoshi declares 2019 presidency ambition vows to defeat Buhari. 3 tiers of government shares 638 billion naira revenue for the month of August. Jonathan calls for review of PDP primary statutory delegates on the Farsen. 22 killed in stampede amid heavy rain at railway station in India. Cameroon shock border following fresh violence in CAR. Good evening, I am Kunle. Alaye bringing you the news in detail shortly. Ogun State government has expressed concern over the high level of untreated cases of tuberculosis in the state. In 2016, 16,728 cases of tuberculosis were recorded in the state, while only 2,551 were reported and treated, representing only 15% of detection rate. Health Commissioner Dr. Babatunde Ipae, who made this known at a news conference in Abeokuta, described as alarming the non-detection of 85% rate of tuberculosis cases in 2016. 80% of the state government's health facilities, according to the health commissioner, are equipped with tuberculosis treatment facilities, which is also being extended to private health providers, faith-based hospitals, and patient medicine operators in the state. Ipaye explains that the state government, with the support of USAID and the National TB Program, will on Friday flag off the pilot mobile health clinic project to take treatments to the state's 20 local government and 37 local cancer development areas. He says the exercise will last for 3 months until the gap of undetected cases of tuberculosis is eliminated or drastically reduced in the state. We sincerely apologize for that mix-up. Rice smugglers riding motorcycles have attacked officers of Nigerian Customs Service in the Yewo axis of Ogun State. One of the custom patrol vehicles was damaged beyond repairs during the attack, which took place last Saturday at Olonda village near Ilase. The state custom controller, Sonny Magodo, who made this known to newsmen at the Diroko border post, says the smugglers, numbering hundreds, attacked state custom officers on patrol with dangerous weapons including cutlasses and axes. Madogo explains that smugglers in the state are now using motorcycles to move rice from Benin Republic through bush paths following intense patrol of roads. Governor Ayodele Fayoshi of Ekiti State has formally declared his bid for the PDP ticket for the 2019 presidential poll. Fayoshi, declaring his presidential ambition at the Chelsea Hotel in Abuja, says God has destined him to take over the ruling Nigeria. As from May 29, 2019, the governor vows to defeat President Muhammadu Buhari if he seeks re-election and return PDP to the presidential villa in Abuja. Fayoshi believes he is more qualified for the ticket as the longest-serving state governor who served under former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Goodluck Jonathan, and now Muhammadu Buhari. PDP National Caretaker Committee on Wednesday advised Fayoshi not to join the presidential race because the last PDP non-election national convention had zoned its 2019 presidential ticket to the northern region. But Fayoshi on Thursday says PDP should not wait for the north to present a presidential candidate if no one in the region is interested. Meanwhile, operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) have arrested 2 of Ekiti State government top officials, both taken away by EFCC operatives from their offices in Ado-Ekiti. The Ekiti State capital included the State Finance Commissioner and the Accountant General. The officials are still being quizzed at the Abuja headquarters of the Anti-Graft Agency. EFCC says the officials were arrested after they failed to honor its invitation over the management of the bailout funds the state government received from the presidency. Federal, state, and local government have shared revenue totaling 637.7 billion naira from the Federation account for the month of August. The shared revenue is more than 163 billion naira higher than the 387.3 billion naira distributed to the 3 tiers of government for the previous month of July. Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, in a communique issued after the monthly meeting of the Federation Account Allocation Committee in Abuja, says significant revenue was realized from the non-oil sectors. Given the breakdown of the distributor revenue, Idris explains that federal government receives 237.1 billion naira, 36 state government 173.9 billion naira, and 774 local government 131.04 billion naira. He adds that the oil producing state got additional 41.9 billion naira as 13% derivation. Katsina and Kano State have rejected the proposed power devolution and restructuring being advocated largely by state in Nigeria's free South geopolitical zones. Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State, speaking at a public hearing on restructuring organized by APC in Kano, says the existing structure of Nigeria's federating units and power sharing should not be restructured. In case the restructuring will be done, the governor advocates that it should be a gradual process. His Katsina State counterpart, Governor Aminu Maizari, also wants the existing structures in Nigeria's federal system be retained, adding that Katsina State fully aligned with the position adopted by Kaduna, Jigawa, Sokoto, Kebbi, and Zamfara State on power devolution and restructuring. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has called for a review of the number of statutory delegates to the primaries of PDP. Jonathan making the call while receiving a delegation of PDP former state houses of assembly members at his Abuja residence regards the modality for the election of PDP officials as a major challenge facing the party. The former president advocates that top political office holders such as governors, ministers, lawmakers at all levels should have automatic statutory delegates to PDP primaries. He however objects any arrangements that will empower any PDP leader to influence the number of statutory delegates. Gunmen have abducted a Catholic priest along Auchi Opela Highway in Edo State. The priest, Reverend Father Lawrence Adorodo, was abducted on Wednesday evening. Catholic Bishop for the Auchi Diocese, Most Reverend Gabriel Dunia, who made this known at a news conference in Auchi, explains the priest was kidnapped while on his way back from Auchi to his parish, St. Benedict Catholic Church, Opela. The bishop says the gunmen have been in contact with the church, demanding for ransom. You are still listening to the World News at 5 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and the sport news. Please do stay with us. A stampede at a Mumbai railway station has left 22 people dead and injured, about 30 in India. Police says the incident at Heppinston Station, which connects two of the city's major local lines, was triggered by overcrowding and heavy rain. The stampede was on a footbridge leading to the station. Railway spokesman Anil Saxena told reporters the bridge had been busy as a huge crowd of passengers who had been taking shelter from heavy rains tried to leave the station all at the same time. Mr. Saxena added that they will conduct an inquiry into the incident. U.S. Health Secretary Tom Price has apologized over his private plane trips on official government business. The former Georgia congressman said he will reimburse taxpayers and fly commercial in future. His apology comes a day after U.S. President Donald Trump said he was not happy with Mr. Price's trips. Government officials, except those dealing with national security matters, are required to take commercial flight for work-related travel. An investigation by Politico found Mr. Price had taken at least 24 such flights since early May at a cost of taxpayers of $300,000. Two other members of Mr. Trump's cabinet are under scrutiny by inspectors general for their use of private planes while on the job. Business activity has come to a standstill as Cameroon has sealed its northern border with the troubled Central African Republic following escalating violence in the neighboring country. Cameroon says several of its citizens have been kidnapped and taken to CAR by armed groups. The most senior government officials in the Cameroon border locality, Etienne Umbala Samba, says several Cameroonians in his area have been kidnapped since violence escalated across the border 2 weeks ago. It says more troops have been deployed to stop the rebels. The official says the government of Cameroon has decided to seal its northern border with the Central African Republic to stop armed rebels from causing disorder. The United Nations report that since May 2017, fresh fighting between armed groups in CAR has wrought new waves of destruction, bloodshed, and displacement. Up next in the world news is business news. Ogun State government says it is working to ensure that the state emerges as number one in the ranking of the World Bank on ease of doing business among the states in Nigeria. The state governor's special advisor on commerce and industry, Mrs. Funmi Ajayi, says Ogun State, which before 2014 was rated 36, is now one of the top 5 states in the country. According to the latest ranking of the World Bank, Ajayi spoke on the radio at a meeting between the state government's top officials and the World Bank team at the governor's office in Abeokuta. Also, the governor's special advisor on one-stop shop, Mrs. Babiru Suberu, told the World Bank team that the state has developed a tracking system to know its position and plug any forms of gap ahead of the next ranking of states. Finally, sport news. Zambia is to set up their training camp in Ghana ahead of the 2018 World Cup qualifier against Nigeria in Rio next month. Local players invited for the game will leave Zambia this weekend for Ghana, while the foreign troops will join the team in Ghana from Europe. The Chipolo Polo contingent, after 3 days of training in Ghana, will fly down to Nigeria next week Wednesday. Chipolo Polo head coach Wetsen Ujirenda will announce his final team on Friday before the team's departure on Sunday. Nigeria leads Group B on 10 points, while Zambia is second on 7 points, with Cameroon on 3 points, while Algeria is stuck at the bottom with 1 point. And that was the world news at 5, but just before we go, the major stories once again. In the world news at 5, Ogun worried over high rate of untreated tuberculosis cases. Fayoshi declares 2019 presidency ambition, vows to defeat Buhari. 3 tiers of government shares 638 billion naira revenue for the month of August. Former President Jonathan calls for review of PDP primary statutory delegate. On the foreign scene, we reported that 22 killed in a stampede amid heavy rain at railway station in India. And Cameroon shut border following fresh violence in CAR. For more stories and to listen to us live, do log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Kunle. Alaye. Do have a wonderful Friday evening.